How the devil? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Well, I hope you all had a good Christmas and you haven't eaten too much and drunk too much, because I flipping have. Anyway, so what have I got today? Well, I've got a pair of Bowers & Wilkins 606 S2s anniversary edition. Now, I got these for a great price, actually. I think I did. Now, when these first come out, I think they were going for around about £500 to £600. And I got them off a site called Peter Tyson for 280 quid, open box, brand new. You're having a laugh, I think. I got them for a song there, definitely. But the only thing with this speaker is, it's very much like Marmite. If you're an Aussie, Vegemite. Slightly different, very similar. Okay, you either love them or you hate them, right? And I think this is very much the same with these speakers. You've got Andrew Robinson. He flipping hates these. Ooh, he doesn't like them, okay? Then you've got Steve Guttenberg.
That's terrific, really.
No, not that one, okay? Not that one. The one who reviews audio gear. That one. Well, he reviewed the 607 S2 Anniversary Edition. And he loved them. He thought they were very, very good. And they probably, you know, got a very similar sound signature to these, even though they're smaller. They've probably got a very similar sound signature. I think the tweet is the same. The driver's a bit smaller, but the same material, etc., etc. Anyway, so we're going to see today whether I'm going to hate them or love them. Have I, you know, blown 280 quid? Am I a dickhead? Okay, we're going to find out today. Today, we're going to find out whether I'm a dickhead. Anyway, let's have a bit of a closer look at them and see what the specs are. Ooh. Okay, here it is. Ta-da! Right, now because I had to get these because they didn't have any other colour at the price they were being offered, so I had to get the plain matte black. They come in plain matte white as well, but you know, you've got a plain matte black with a plain cover on it. I would prefer it if they would maybe put like a grey cover on it. You know, like some of the companies are making nice grills now. I know it's functional, but these are a piece of furniture. I want them to look good in my living room, okay, or my listening area, whatever, okay? So, like, if you're like me and want to keep the grills on because you've got kids wandering around with, you know, like with pens they can stick in the speakers and stuff, you want to keep the grills on, okay? But yeah, could have made it a bit better. If I had a choice, I probably would have got the light oak, my personal preference. I think it look a bit classier. But there we are, it is what it is. When you take the grill off, it's a magnetic grill, by the way, magnetic, all right? When you take the grill off, looks a bit better. I mean, they're well made, really, really, you know, well done. Everything's all good workmanship, you know. So, but when you take the grill off, it does look a bit better. But I don't want the kids poking stuff in there. You have got this little metal mesh over the tweeter, which is good. But I don't want the kids. They could put a pen. You never know. You never know with kids. Anyway, so let's have a look at the back of it. And there you go. Okay, here's the back. There we are. There's the back. Ooh. All right. So, twin binding posts, so you could use bi-wiring. I'm not really into bi-wiring myself. Don't see much point of it, but there we are. They're on there. I prefer them to save money on these and spend more on the crossover, but that's what I think. Any road, okay. They're very good quality for this price point. I don't think you'd find better at this price point, I don't think. Really good quality binding posts. Although, being in the UK, they did have them plastic stoppers in there, which I had to unscrew and take them off. Pain in the arse, so I could get my banana plugs in there. There you got your base port. Now, here's the thing. I did a video a few weeks back upgrading a set of Wharfdale Diamond 220s where I put a bass tube in there, and that bass tube had these little indentations on it. And I'm not going to go through it all now. If you want to see that video, I'll put a link there. Okay. But apparently, these indentations, they use the same indentations on a golf ball. And a golf ball that's got indentations on it, little dot marks, goes twice as far as a smooth golf ball. So there you go. So what it does, it cuts down turbulence. So the bass port chuffs out, you know, it's less turbulence coming out, it comes out smoother. So it's surprising, a lot more manufacturers don't use this type of bass port, but there we go. It is what it is. Right, let's have a look at the specs. Turn it round. Whoa. There you go. Plonk. Right, so we've got a 1-inch 25mm aluminium, or for my American friends, aluminum tweeter. It's decoupled from the cabinet, so it's a sealed unit, so you won't get any resonance from the cabinet affecting the tweeter. Then you've got a 6.5-inch or 165mm continuum woofer. God only knows what flipping continuum is. But apparently they used to use Kevlar, but now they're going to this continuum woven fibre type woofers, which apparently gives you a lower noise floor over Kevlar. And then you can see the graphic I've put up here from their website. And obviously, if it's in a graphic, it has to be true, surely. It's got to be, yeah, it's in a graphic. And there you go. Right, impedance is 8 ohms. Frequency range is 52 Hz to 28 kHz, respectable. The recommended amplifier is 30 to 120 watts. Right, so they're well made. They look a bit bland with the grills on, but with the grills off, they look nice. They got good specs. So what's the problem with them? What's going on with all these reviewers saying they don't like them? Well, basically, what a lot of reviewers are saying is that they're a bit too sibilant, and there's a lot of artifacts. So Andrew Robinson said there's a lot of artifacts in the treble range. So some other reviewers have said they like the speaker, they think it sounds good. And other reviewers have said it's all about positioning, where you sit, where you put your ear level, how much you toe them in, what amplifier you use. It's ridiculous. Or you've got to toe it in 2 centimeters this way and that way. You've got to sit, one said you can't sit level with the tweeter. You've got to sit with the ears here. Like, right, okay, hang on a minute. I'm just going to tape measure out. Right, I'm there. Bam. You've got to bring them out 3 feet into the room. Well, that's all fine for people who've got a nice listening room. But the majority of us, I know some of you may have a nice listening room, but the majority of people, myself included, don't have a nice listening room with all nice soundproofing and sound deadening materials. We got to do with a little bit of carpet and a picture on the wall, okay? You know, we just don't have the room to put them on stands. Or you've got to have them on stands, that's another one. Don't have the room to put them on stands, you don't have the room to bring them out 3 foot into the room. I just want a speaker, I want to plonk on the top and then go, oh, that's nice, I like the sound of that. You know, one thing I don't want to do is have to like do all these things, sit on a chair upside down with my finger at my nose and my other finger in the ear to get a good sound out of it. Oh my God, they sound amazing now. Right. So I've taken my finger out of my nose, give it a bit of a clean, taken it out of my ear, also give that a clean, turn myself the right way up and change out of my pajama bottoms. Right. So since recording that segment, I've had a bit more listening experience with them. And I had recorded something else, but I'd taken that away because the more I use these, I can see what these reviewers are saying with regards to placement and messing around with these speakers. So what I found in this setup here, they're probably a little bit too big for this area. Just a bit, okay? I can't get them far enough from the wall. Just about to say from the wall. I've only got them about 8 inches from the wall. What's that, 21 centimeters. So I had to use so they come with these bungs or port things, right? You can either have them completely, you can either block the port completely by putting that in there like that, or you can take that middle out and have them just a little bit smaller. I found when I completely bunged it up, it didn't sound good. I didn't like it. Kind of wiped the bass out a little bit too much. But when I put it like this, oh, much better. Without the port plugs in them, in this area here, the bass was just too much, too boomy, really, because they do give out quite a good bass. But when I put them in, it kind of evened it out a bit and actually opened up the mid-range a bit more. So I preferred in this situation to put these in with that in, all right? Just to be aware of if you do have them set up like this. Ideally, you'd like to have them further apart as well. But in saying that, they do stereo image very well, even at this distance. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting them to, because obviously, you know, I think B&W recommend being at least 6 feet apart. Excuse me. So obviously I can't get them 6 feet apart here, but they do image really well in this situation. Anyway, so what I've done a little sound test comparing them to the 220s, the Wharfedale Diamond 220s. And I've modded them up a bit, so they do sound a bit better than, not a massive amount, but they do sound a little bit better, in my opinion, than when I first got them. So have a listen to this sound test. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Okay, there you go. All right, what do you think? Please let me know. I do like to hear what you guys think. Now, the Wharfedale Diamond 220s, for the price, great speaker. I mean, I paid 50 quid for them. It seems stupid, right? But I got to say, I don't think they could keep up with the 606s. Obviously, they sounded bigger, better bass, even with these port plugs in. Mid-range is still good on the Wharfies. It's all right, it's pretty good, you know, but I think these did win out on that. But then I got to thinking, I was like, how would they sound in a bigger space? Because, you know, I talked about the space you use them in, and you can't move them out, move them in, whatever. But I do have a cinema surround setup. It's not perfect. It's not perfect because I've had to move things around because I'm having work done on the house. So the area I've got my cinema surround setup isn't great. It's not soundproofed. It's a, you know, there's no like anything up on the walls or anything. But it is bigger and spaced out. So I thought, how would these sound against the Dali Oberon 5s? Right? So I've done a sound test with these against the Dali Oberon 5s, but with no plug port in them at all. I took them all out just to make it a fair comparison. And also I put them further apart as well, just to give them a bit more room to breathe to see how they sounded. Have a listen to this. So what do you think of that? Now, like I said, it's quite a live room. It could do with some soundproofing around and stuff like that. You could hear sometimes the bass bouncing around a bit too much. But it gives you some idea comparing the two. And you can hear, even though it's only over YouTube, you can hear that the B&Ws are quite a bit brighter than the Dali Oberon 5s. Now, this is what I think, okay? I think that with the Dali Oberon 5s, or Dali in particular, and Wharfedale, they tend to play it a bit safe. So they keep it quite even through the frequencies. Okay, good, decent mid-range, decent treble, decent bass. Okay, Dali Oberon 5's got a great bass on them, especially for the size. It's a small tower, but they put out a really good bass. But B&W, I think they take more of a risk. You know, you either like this sound or you don't. But I think the B&Ws, when they're spaced out, I put them on a stand. I did. I put them on stands. They sounded great. Really, really good. Very open, big soundstage. Still a good bass, even though they were put in a bigger room. Sounding very good. But here's the thing. I can see why some people will like them and some people won't. They're not for everybody. Whereas, you know, a lot of Wharfedale speakers, pretty much everybody never gives a really bad review on them. They always say they're pretty good. They're not bad. Oh, they're not pretty good, they are. You know, some they say they're really, really good, but they never say they're really, really shite. But these ones are like, you know, really got difference of opinion from everybody. So they are quite picky on the music you choose. And what I mean by that is, if you give these speakers a poor source, okay, they sound bad, not good, really harsh. And that's where the harshness comes from, you know. But if you give them a good bit of music, good quality, they sound great, really good. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. But the thing is with the poor source, I don't mean even like, it's the production of the music. So I listen to a lot of, I actually listen to Paul Weller and The Jam. Got a hits album with some of his own hits, solo hits, plus some of the hits by The Jam. And what I found was the older tracks from The Jam, they weren't very well produced and they sounded terrible on these speakers, not good. But the newer tracks, his solo tracks, they're much better produced and they sounded very good, really, really clear and dynamic and punchy. So you've got to be careful what you feed into these speakers. So these are not a speaker you can just plonk on some stands or plonk on a desktop or whatever and say, oh, they sound good. You have got to do a bit of tinkering with them, unfortunately. Although you don't have to put your finger in your ear and put your finger up your nose and sit upside down. You do have to kind of space them out properly. Or if you've got them in this situation, you do have to use port plugs to try and tame that bass down a bit. But overall, I like them. I think they're pretty good. But I can't recommend them to everyone. If you are ever going to get a set of these or buy them, you need to really, ideally, the idea would you would need to bring them home and trial them in your house. Because if you go to a listening room in a store, hi-fi store, whatever, specialist, they're going to have it all set up perfectly. They're going to go, oh, they sound fantastic. You get them home and go, what the deuce? Okay, so you do need to listen to these first, ideally in your own listening area. See if you like them. I didn't find them overly bright, but I can see that some people would. So there we are. Come to the end of the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And I'll catch you in the next one.